What's up, everybody? You are tuned into season 2 of the Elks Call, presented by Shotgun Sports. My name is Scout, aka the rep from Section X.
And I'm Catherine, aka Do Even Elks.
And today we are joined by longtime Double E fan and a new tailgater. Ladies and gentlemen, it is Chris Agar. Chris, how you doing today, man?
Thanks for having me. Give me a
Super stoked to have you on. How's your off season been? Do you got the CFL itch yet?
Yeah, about the day after Grey Cup, I think I did, in all honesty.
When is the next one, right? As soon as you're done.
Well, and then hashtag is it June yet? I think we're already getting to that point now. Yeah, guys, this is going to be an awesome show, stacked once again. Before we dig into the schedule, we'd like to thank everybody for tuning in. Whether you're watching on our YouTube at Shotgun Sports Network, or even on Facebook or X, or if you're listening on TuneIn, iHeartRadio, Edmonton Sports Talk, or wherever you get your podcast, we appreciate you. So thank you. Today's lineup for this stacked show is as follows. We're going to actually open up the show with an expanded version of Kathy's Herd Report. So we're going to be talking about the latest Edmonton Elks transactions and news, as well as some other major news from the CFL that we're just hearing today. Following that, we'll give you an Edmonton sports update with some help from our good friend Len. And then we'll cap the show with the fan forum where we discuss hot topics surrounding the Elks, the CFL, and the sports world as a whole. Be sure to blow up the herd chat. You know what to do. Blow it up so you can get your comments and questions onto the show. We see John is already in the herd chat throwing down some comments, so that's awesome. Let's kick it off with the Kathy's Herd Report. That's brought to you by Off the Reins podcast. The Birmingham Stallions are going for the three-peat, and Ryan Messer has you covered for the journey. Find OTR every 2 weeks on Shotgun Sports Network. Giddy up.
I like the name Herd Report. It sounds a lot more official and professional than it actually is, to be honest. And, I mean, when was the last show that we did was the 6th.
Yeah.
So I grabbed all of the transactions following that, and to be honest, not much happened the past couple of weeks.
That's surprising, isn't it? Because it's free agency.
Was it surprising though, seeing that how much money Jones has been spending?
True.
I mean, but yeah, let's just get right into it. February 7th, we had American defensive back Cordell Jackson, who was signed. On February 13th, we officially signed our running back returner, Javon Leake. So let's remember that he was the 2023 most astounding special teams player. Chris, what do you think of this move? What do you think of so far the moves that we have seen?
Well, anytime you can upgrade a position that much, I'm all for it. I mean, the number one complaint has been no special teams for the past, 8-9 years?
Since 2015, basically, yeah.
You've got to shorten the field for the quarterback. It's simple math. Very simple math. So long as the team can support him and make him holes, I think we're going to be okay.
Yeah. After that, February 16th, we had American running back Cameron Peoples signed. February 20th, American defensive back Brian Hughes Jr. was signed. And on the 21st, we had American wide receiver and last change U alum John Franklin II signed. So once again, we didn't see much in the past couple of weeks in terms of signings. I think that's what I think happened. I think Jones went ahead and spent all his money by the time that the free agent frenzy came along. What were your expectations during this whole thing?
Well, Jones didn't make any bones about it. He said he wasn't going to do a heck of a lot in free agency. He wanted consistency in the team, and I'll take that over a bunch of new people any day. Honestly, I really like the idea of having some continuity on the lineup.
Yeah, and I'll chime in on that as well. It was on Edmonton Sports Talk yesterday on the EST Hangout, so that was fantastic. And this had actually come up, right? If you're a team that's constantly going through a lot of players and a lot of churn in the roster, well, that usually means you don't believe in the team in general, right? At the end of the season, you're not really believing in that team. You see a bunch of negatives and you want all these pieces swapped out. Now, Jones banking on youth, I think that's very interesting. I wish we had a couple more veterans and a couple more positions like our lines, the O line and the D line. O line, it has a couple of vets, but on the D line, we're basically all youth there. And I mean, speaking of which, AC Leonard, right? I was kind of hoping to see him come back to the team. Unfortunately, he it's not working out for both sides. Money, good for AC trying to go get that money.
He is asking for a high.
Can't blame him.
No.
Yes. What do you think's going to happen to him, Chris?
He'll catch on somewhere. I think if we ended up in a situation of injuries, he may get a spot back in Edmonton. But I'm not Coach Jones. I can't make the call. But that would just be my assumption or prediction, I guess.
Yeah. We also have some other names left as free agents. Manny Arsenault, wide receiver, is one of them. Linebacker Jordan Reeves, D-line Daniel Ross, and of course a couple of O-line guys, Josiah St. John and Samuel Thomason. So I'm not sure. What are you expecting with those names? Do you think that there's going to be any extra moves here in the next few weeks before training time starts, or?
Well, at this point, I don't know if I see AC Leonard coming back. If there's one spot where you hope that, let's say, like if they pick up anybody, really, it's the D line. Any sort of veteran, any sort of experience, anything that can help that young D line do their job this season. Like we need wins at the end of the day. And hey, maybe there's something I don't know. There's a reason why I'm not a coach. I'm on a podcast talking, really. We're fans. We pay the money to get in. We don't have our salaries paid by the team. So, it's a different side, and there's probably things I don't see. But I was expecting help on the D line. I was hoping for one more on the O line. For the rest of it, though, like getting Boris Beatty, that was huge. That's a huge acquire. Javon Leake. Cordell Jackson is my number one player to watch in training camp this year. I will tell you that. The amount of hype that this guy's had behind him, and then, of course, coupled out with his film, he looks like he could be a game breaker. He might be the critical interception guy if he makes it onto the roster, and we're still talking months away. But no, my expectations was fielding a competitive team. At this point, I could say still with, my own fan wish list here, just because that wasn't met doesn't mean that the team isn't instantly thrown into contention with some of these signings, right? With the coupling of MBT, Curly Gittins Jr., Javon Leake, Boris Beatty, we're talking about a bunch of all-stars and guys with pedigree. Yeah. So
bunch of Argos.
It's the Edmonton Argonauts right now.
I think every team is the Argonauts this year with the way things are going.
Well, and that's what we also talked about yesterday, was how Toronto got absolutely decimated in free agency. But why do you think? It's because they have a good team. And
well, I mean, the players are looking for their worth, right? They know that they can get paid a little bit better. And I think management at the Argonauts, they did the right thing for not holding them back from getting a better opportunity. So, I mean, that speaks a lot about the team itself, right? I mean, it's unfortunate because now you see a completely decimated team that just...
Respectfully, I don't know if I'd use the word decimated. I mean, if they believe in their depth, there's no decimation there. It's just next man up.
Oh, totally. No, and I mean in their starting roster, right?
As far as the players that we saw last year.
But
and you got to remember they had a few times where they had a lead, and they were resting guys and putting them in, putting in their backups, and this is why they gave the backups some time, because management's not stupid. They're going to see the contracts are coming up, paydays are coming up. It's just unfortunate for them they couldn't get through the 16-2 curse.
Exactly. No, it's they're believing in their youth, much like the Edmonton Elks are also believing in their youth in certain roles and certain positions, right?
Mhm.
Um,
It'll be interesting seeing them, watching them to see what they come up with and how the new team kind of fares up to what we're used to seeing or what we saw last year at least.
yeah.
So that's going to be exciting.
Yeah.
No, I think it's a lot more exciting, and rather than saying for how many years now this team should be good on paper, this team should make the moves. That's now the expectation this year, I think, for Elks fans
Yeah.
is playoffs bare minimum. Especially at year 3 of a Chris Jones rebuild.
Hmm.
You can't expect anything less, really.
Well, like you say, and it's continuity, right? I mean, I remember last year hearing a lot about how Chris Jones was not interested in signing anybody for 1-year contracts anymore. That he wanted them for 3-year contracts. You know, somebody that would stay in the team and build that chemistry and build that relationship and just take it a step farther. But
Hmm.
the other thing is that I'm also seeing quite a few of those 1 years coming back, right? So I'm not sure if there's going to be much continuity after that. So,
Yeah. It's interesting too. Like I like the NFL, it's just completely different for those contracts. You see a lot more of those bigger contracts, wouldn't you say, Chris?
Yeah, I think so. Unfortunately, the way the salaries are structured in the CFL, guys don't want to stay for 3 years, 4 years, or whatever. They've got to do what they can do. A lot of them are trying to get down south to the NFL, and Lord knows you can't blame them for that.
Well, and what about the UFL as well? There's opportunities, just like McLeod Bethel Thompson was down
Right.
in the USFL last season for the New Orleans Breakers.
Yeah.
Same deal. He actually went down. He had a different situation, sure, but Trey Watson, Edmonton Elks, 2022.
Yep.
Yep.
He went down to the St. Louis Battlehawks last year for 2023. So you see this happen. You see, yeah, it's. I get that there are other opportunities, but you're right. Americans, I don't know if I'd want to commit like that out of country, right?
Yeah, that's fair. It's I think it's totally fair.
And because of the dollar, it's the competitive market thing, right? If
Yeah.
somebody else can pay you, 33% more next year, look at the Geno Lewis contract, really. He got a significant pay increase.
Yeah.
And let's say the Elks don't want to pay him that going forward, or especially with how there's the roster bonus cutoffs. Roster bonus cutoffs are a contributing factor, I would say, as well.
And another thing you take into consideration for our American players is they get taxed here and in the States.
Right.
So if you see a $250,000 contract, it's not even close to what he's taking.
No,
especially in American currency, right? So I'm not saying most guys are destitute, but I am saying it's not a multi-million-dollar contract situation for these fellas.
So then I wonder, is that why American players, when they've played in the CFL for a couple of years, they explore living here and getting a permanent residency?
Oh, 100%. I would say so. Who was it that we were just talking to that he specifically said that once he figure out how much he had to pay for the taxes, that he immediately moved to Canada.
Is that Craig Ellis? Or
He might have been Craig Ellis.
Might have been Craig Ellis. Nice.
Right? That it was one of those that, when you look at your living situation and how much you end up paying, you just might as well make the move, right?
Might as well. No, exactly.
But on that, has there been any news on or any announcements in terms of the coaching staff? Has Chris Jones made any announcements on that?
As far as I know, haven't seen anything. Unfortunately, until that happens, I would love to have a member or two of the staff on, but we have to wait for the coaching staff to be announced. So
why is Chris Jones being so mysterious right now?
well, when we
our coach,
he's
famous for keeping his cards close to the vest, right? So,
oh yeah.
Well,
and Jason,
it's frustrating.
Worst kept secret is that Shivers is coming over.
Yeah.
but we still have to wait in suspense. So, yeah, to answer your question, Catherine, I don't believe so. Chris, do you know anything on that announcement? Probably not.
Nah.
Probably as much as you, if not less.
Nice.
Yeah. Figure I would bring it up because I mean everybody's just wondering, right? Everybody's still wondering. But we'll hear Chris Jones, like you say, he's keeping his cards close to his chest, and we'll see when we see. But on happier news, moving away from the uncertainty of where this team is going on paper or on the team, the tailgate party is expanding in 2024, featuring 200 stalls and a reconfiguration of for use and a new 3-hour limit. So we will talk a lot more in depth about this in the fan forum. But what are your first initial thoughts? Were you excited about it, or
I didn't have any complaints about it whatsoever. Not one. I like the increase in capacity. I love the fact that the stage is off the pavement, so there's more stalls, dance floor. Yeah, I don't see any issues with it at all. It's a little far away from the street, but that's a small sacrifice to make.
Very true. And I mean, there's a lot of pros with that as well when you have families and little kids running around. But once again, we'll revisit this topic in the fan forum. And before we keep going, we do have what else? What else did they show? On that, right?
So they privately showed us in that meeting because you were in the same tailgate meeting, right, Chris?
Yeah.
So we got to do this tailgate meeting. You were there. We went down. We got to go into the locker room at Commonwealth Stadium, which was very nice. And we got to meet McLeod Bethel Thompson. But one of the most exciting parts of that,
before we get there, that speech that he did, that Bethel Thompson speech, it was like 30 seconds. It was just him just saying hi and like a few words, and even just listening to that, I was like, that guy's a leader. That guy knows how to talk to his team. That guy knows how to talk to people.
I was in the meeting on the Monday, not the Saturday, so MBT had already gone home, unfortunately.
Oh, that's
I heard the speech was fantastic. I heard he's a likable guy.
It was like
People have confidence in him.
It was like 2 sentences, but they were so well spoken and in such a manner that I was like, I will follow that guy wherever he goes. But anyway, sorry to interrupt.
no, that's good. No, and that sucks, Chris. That really sucks that he wasn't sticking around till the Monday. I thought that you guys were for sure gonna get the same treatment, and I almost picked the Monday. I guess I picked the Saturday by accident because I almost had to go back and rectify that floor. But no, so on the Saturday then, there was a lot in that meeting, and I wish we could have taken pictures of certain things. Unfortunately, we were not allowed, but we were able to see the 75th anniversary badge, and we also got news of notable alumni visits this season. So speaking on more so the 75th badge, like, what do you think about it without sharing too many details? Like, will fans like it? Where do you think we will see this logo?
Well, I imagine it's going to be put on the jersey, probably shoulder over the heart type of thing. I think that it's a beautiful logo. I'm impressed with it. I'm sure not everybody's going to like it because not everybody likes everything, but I thought it was apropos. It was tasteful, eye-catching. I'm good with it.
Nice.
No, it is exciting. It is something new. That's the one thing that I liked. It's something new. It's something that I'm not sure if I would see something like that on jerseys or anything, but like even just patches or even like stickers or even, merch that people can take with them, that would be super cool for sure. And I'm really excited when they unveil that and they show it to everybody.
Yeah, I think fans are really gonna like it. It is a really nice patch. More than likely, I think Chris is right with the jersey. Like every time they do the season celebration and a big anniversary, they'll go ahead and slap a patch on it. They will more than likely do some t-shirts and some hats. I don't see why you don't do that thing everywhere, right?
Gosh, that's easy money.
Yeah. So, and then that's the patch. No clue on where they're officially going to throw it, but bare minimum, I would say jersey and some merchandise. throw it on a mug, throw it on every piece of merchandise you possibly can. It's the one season you're going to be able to use it, and yeah, it's going to be amazing.
Mhm.
John in the herd chat, but it's not the 75th anniversary. It's the organization. Hey,
Yes,
that's
it is the
that's
75th.
Oh, John.
Very nice.
John. Hey, the double E, the 75th anniversary of Edmonton's football team.
Which is fine.
Yeah.
Celebrate that.
Your mama's birthday is still your mama's birthday just because it's her name after marriage.
Oh, I love it. I love it.
I like that. I like that. I'm gonna have to start using that for every time that people are like, "Oh, it's just a name change."
Yeah, it's just a name change.
How about your
The history is erased. How long have you been married, sir? 27 years. Your wife's only 27 years old. You can't cancel history based on a name change. It's silly.
I like it.
Oh, that's funny. That's funny.
But yes.
So for a big one today, there was some big news. We are going to go ahead and call this a developing story. A lawsuit has been filed against the Toronto Argonauts and quarterback Chad Kelly. A former female staff member is alleging that she was wrongfully fired after filing a complaint about Kelly's persistent advances. This would be a repeat offense for Chad Kelly if found guilty, or if the evidence proves the offense. I'm just gonna ask. Nobody has to throw down their opinion on this. I mean, we're not looking for anything controversial. We do not play that game. We're not here to lambaste anybody. We're just asking. We'll start with Chris. Do you have any words for this?
Wait till the truth is out before you're voicing your opinion. That's my thought to myself. It stinks. The accusations stink. It's terrible. If it happened, I'm not saying it didn't. Please no. Nobody knows except for the alleged victim, the alleged perpetrators. If it is true, it's a bad look if the Argos did go hush hush on it. Just a bad look.
Mm-hmm.
Especially in today's day and age where so many teams are getting nailed for that kind of a thing. So I hope it didn't happen, but if it did, then
yeah, that's kind of
has to prevail.
What I was gonna say, right, is in this day and age, and exactly we've seen a lot of these accusations, we'll call them that, because that's what they are until they've been proven whether guilty or innocent. Right? There's been a lot of those lately, and I think overall is still kind of like a bad look. So my first gut reaction when you showed me that article, I was like, oof, that's not a good thing for the Argos.
Yeah, that was
Yeah. I think the piece that's shocking about it is the organizational piece. Once again, I'll go ahead and say innocent until proven guilty. There's a very toxic social media culture out there, cancel culture, whatever you want to call it. There's that side of it. We don't condone it, don't like it. Not about that. We're not here to add fuel to a fire or anything like that. That's not our game. We're just here to basically speak the news on this one and then give an opinion, but with the basis of innocent till proven guilty. And what I would say here is based on the size of this and the people involved, Chad Kelly, who is a face of the franchise and also the face of the CFL to a degree. So this hurts the league. This hurts the league at the end of the day. And just the allegations alone are extremely damaging. Players in any league, in any sports league, as soon as an allegation comes up, there's a suspension, there's time away, all of these things. Luckily for the Argonauts, in this situation, they aren't in the middle of the season dealing with this and having the result of poor on-field play. Yeah. So at least there is time to gather truth and to gather evidence. And should the evidence see this through and see that the allegations are true, then just like Chris said, this would be such a red X on such a black mark on the Toronto Argonauts, especially in the years of success. You
Yes.
have momentum as a brand, which the Argonauts have not had momentum with their brand. Even with Ricky Ray, they still struggled to get butts in the seats, and that was a hard decline as soon as Ricky Ray was gone.
Mhm.
McLeod Bethel Thompson, he was still balling out, but they were never able to regain any sort of momentum as a business and with fans in the seats. So, darn shame to see the allegations today. I wish that this didn't happen. I hope justice prevails, and that's innocent until proven guilty. I think that's the
Mhm.
biggest thing that people need to remember about this.
Of course, and
Yeah.
I think it's one of those very tricky situations though, because you nailed it just by saying that in this day and age with the social media world that we live in, people will make their assumptions as soon as information like that comes out. So
Mhm.
John here, he says, fans are turning on Chad Kelly and the Toronto Argos on social media, and people are going as far as canceling season tickets already. Right. So that's unfortunate when you hear about that, but it's also a very like nowadays reaction. Like
I'm curious how people are canceling their season's tickets when the news just broke this afternoon and they're 2 hours
oh,
ahead.
they might be like threatening. They might be
I'm sure,
threatening to
yeah.
cancel their season
Yeah.
ticket on social media because that's a thing, right? And I think that's one of those situations that we have to be mindful of. Same thing, innocent until proven guilty. But unfortunately, there's always going to be people, especially in social media, especially on platforms like X, that people will get opinions. They will form opinions right off the get go, and they will go with those and land bass teams, land bass organizations, land bass members, and it's very unfortunate to see. And I think that is the point. That is what makes me feel extra bad for the Argos, is because now their reputation has been tarnished already without even being, without them figuring out whether it's true or not.
Yeah.
So
No, it's the allegation,
yeah,
right? That's step one. When that hammer drops, like immediately everybody's sharing that news. Everybody it's a captivating story now, and unfortunately, the CFL and the Toronto Argonauts victim Chad Kelly, a lot of people involved with this. So we don't have the news. We're not going to break the news on this until a verdict. Like there's nothing for us to break. That's not our team. We don't have eyes on that. Once the verdict drops, I'm sure that like we might talk about it, but past this, I mean, that's all that we got to say on this matter for sure.
breaking news.
It's just good. It was just a really good excuse to pull out the breaking news music for once.
Now, so far this is just a civil accusation, correct? It's not a legal
It's
accusation.
not a legal accusation, so it's
Yeah.
just civil, and she's suing them for wrongful termination. And
Dismissal,
really,
yeah.
she wasn't dismissed or terminated. Her contract wasn't renewed. That's the thing too. So her contract wasn't renewed, and she claimed that it was based on this incident that happened. So, 3 Down Nation, shout out to those guys. They're always good for coverage. Go check out the article there. They have the details. TSN, I believe, also has it. There's a couple places that have it. You can go find it if you want the hard details.
Yeah.
Not our shtick. But what our shtick is Edmonton sports. So, guys, we got to give you that Edmonton sports update. Today's sports update is brought to you by Herdy's. New stall, same meat.
No.
Catch Herdy's in a new spot this year, serving our fan favorite smoked pork belly sandwiches. Herdy's, we smoke the meats. I love it. All right, guys. The Edmonton Oilers are on a back-to-back homestand this weekend. First, they face the Wild at 7 p.m. and then a Battle of Alberta against Calgary at 8 p.m. All of that action is happening at Rogers Place. After a quick trip down to Lethbridge, the Oil Kings host another edition of Family Fun Sunday when Wenatchee comes to town. What will be the 20th consecutive sellout show? LPW23 will put on a great show to match what is arguably the greatest wrestling promo ever edited. LPW will be held at Rec Room South Common on Friday night. And the Sherwood Park Crusaders are also holding a big event on Friday, with Pride Night coming to Randy Rosen Rink, featuring the Edmonton Rage ball hockey team. Puck drop is at 7 p.m. Mountain. We're the Elks herd, and you're up to date. And affiliates, let's talk about Royal Retros. RoyalRetros.com. Some of the most sick throwback jerseys you will ever find. Just like, where's that
Here,
sick?
I'll show you.
Oh, that is slick. 75th season. Get you one. You got to get one. Make sure you save 10% by using code Shotgun Sports. No spaces, all caps. Shotgun Sports for that 10% off over at royalretros.com.
That looks a lot like the Green Bay Packers jersey.
But it's got the gold numbering. It's got the classic gold numbering. Speaking of jerseys, Fanatics, right?
Mm-hmm.
Hit the link, shop online with Shotgun Sports Network and Fanatics. You know Fanatics. They're one of the biggest. Go check them out, fanatics.com. Use our link, though. Use our link for sure. That's how we get the hit. And then Lather. Guys, Canadian handmade soap. Canada. It's soap. It's natural. And I've never been a soap guy in my life.
He has never smelled so good.
Yeah. What?
Not saying it. Don't worry about it. Keep going. Lather.
Shotgun 20. Use code Shotgun 20 to save yourself 20% off. No spaces. Shotgun 20. Lather. They're hooking it up. They want me to smell better, apparently. So thank you, Chris and Catherine. You guys are gems. And
I only have to shake your hand once every couple of weeks. She's got to with you, so I'm okay.
I appreciate the
Lather, Catherine. Thank you very much.
Yes.
Hey, you know what? That tailgate, it gets hot and sweaty out there after a very long tailgating day. It's going to be 6 hours of events down at Commonwealth Stadium. So get yourself some lather.
I love it.
Wash that stank off after the game. And, then that way Chris can shake my hand and I'm not going to smell like garbage every time.
Love it.
Oh, it's awesome. Once again, guys, thanks a ton for tuning in tonight to season 2, episode 4. Episode 4. That's right. Episode 4 of the Elks Call. It's huge wherever you're listening or watching from. X, YouTube. YouTube is Shotgun Sports Network, by the way. Like and subscribe, please. We hit 150 on our subscribers today. That's amazing. We've been gaining a subscriber a day lately.
I love it.
Shout out Ryan Messer killing it on his coverage for the Birmingham Stallions down south.
It feels, I was just talking about this before we started the show, but my kids love watching YouTube channels. And there's one kid that they just do, Minecraft playing. He's like, I would like to give a shout out to my followers. We've just reached 10 million followers. And I'm like, oh.
Here we are working our day jobs and podcasting at night. And,
I'm going to show my age here, but I'm blown away. 10 million people want to watch video games that they're not playing.
Correct. Yes.
Very much so.
I mean, I guess it's not that much of a stretch from watching pro sports on TV, but video games? I don't know, man. I'm old.
Go play them yourself.
Yeah. And I mean, that's why it's even more astonishing. We have 150 subscribers over at Shotgun Sports Network. So you guys are listening to us, tuning into us. So we appreciate you. Now, appreciate you too, Chris, for being here.
Hey, I appreciate you for having me.
Hey, dude, we have the best segment coming up. Your opinion is going to be extremely needed in this one because we are opening up the fan forum. Today's fan forum is brought to you by the Winnipeg Terminal Podcast. Prepare for takeoff as Mike and Joe give you the latest on the Jets and the Blue Bombers. Wheels up. You can find that exclusively on Shotgun Sports Network. We are opening up the fan forum. In this segment, we talk about hot topics surrounding the Edmonton Elks and the CFL as a whole. Herd chat, you know what to do. Blow up the herd chat so we can get your comments on to the show. We are already going to have to scroll back to catch a bunch of those comments, but we'll try to get to as many as we possibly can. Catherine, you want to take it away with question number 1?
Sure. Oh, sorry. Had to hold that one.
You're
This
good.
I'm good.
You're good.
The Edmonton Elks have recently made the decision to move the tailgate party over to Lot B. We kind of, hinted towards these at the beginning of our show. But now we have a fan park and parking. We'll have the fan park in Lot B together with the tailgate, and then parking moved to Lot A where the tailgate used to be. So while the move brings a better environment, some fans are disgruntled, of course, about the rising costs and possibly losing a favorite spot that they have been for very many years. So do you think, well, you already said that you thought it was a good thing that the tailgating is moving to Lot B, but can you elaborate on that? Can you tell me a little bit more as to why you think it's a good thing?
Well, my biggest thing is the team's always looking to build exposure. And the best way to do that is tailgating. There are people that don't even go into the stadium after they're done tailgating. They just continue to crack a brew, eat a burger, and chat in the parking lot or in the tailgate spots, right? So it's a huge thing. Anybody can come do it. It doesn't cost you any money to visit. The more exposure, the better. I'm all for it. One thing I'm really impressed with, I don't know if anybody, I brought props. So you can see that. This is what we were given at the meeting, and there we go. I'm backwards. But compare that to the old lot.
Yes.
Absolutely no comparison. It's more of an in the round type of thing rather than a hallway of 2 rows of parking stalls, right?
So, but now my question is, especially on the topic of exposure, right? Right before, when we were in Lot A, people were still having a hard time finding the tailgate, or they didn't even know that it was there, right? They would just go straight from the LRT or wherever they parked into the stadium, and they were not really aware that there was something going on in the parking lot. To Lot B, it seems like that's going to be a little bit more hidden now. What do you think, what can be done to increase that even more exposure, in the sense that people can see that they can come in and be part of this experience and not think that it's a private party that you have to maybe pay to get into or something like that?
Well, I'd like to see some signage. I'm not going to lie. There's a lot of foot traffic coming off the LRT, coming off the buses. Maybe there's some signage saying head to the southwest corner of the stadium. Yeah. Before you head inside. It would really help the exposure.
Yeah. No, I agree with that. And like there's going to be a lot to dig into here. Like John has a good question about this in the herd chat. But something that has been talked about, I think he actually did mention it if we scroll up, having to do with the LRT. But you're right. They had the Fan Fest over on that side. They're probably going to continue that, right? But there is an issue with getting over to the tailgate from the LRT. From the LRT, it's directly opposite if it's in Lot A, but if it's in Lot B, you can take a shortcut and make it over to the LRT or from the LRT to the tailgate rather quickly.
Right.
I like that. I like that it is going to be closer. I also like the in the round. We just, once again, something else that we mentioned on EST yesterday. I mentioned on EST. The in the round, it's now like a festival in there. It's now like a carnival, I think was the term that they used. Instead of having this long sprawled, spread out 2 hallways or two giant rows of parking is how I described it, with an extra, half one there on the side. And I had actually mentioned you. So when I was talking about you coming on the show, I described you as being in the boonies compared to where we were. And really, right? Even though you were only 2 rows and like 5 stalls over or something like that, it still felt like you were in the boonies, because tailgating, it's not like you look over and you're like, "Hey, Joe, how's it going? Hey, Glenn, how's it going?" No, it's you're in your stall, and especially if you're serving people, you're kind of locked in. So for us, we don't get to see everybody. We don't get
Mhm.
to walk around and visit. And we can. It's not like anybody is holding a gun to our head and we're stuck in our spot. But no, we prefer to hand out as much smoked meats as possible. And then if there's an alumni signing, we'll try to get in early, which 3 hours. The 3 hours before is absolutely massive. The fact that they changed it to the 3 hours before before the game as opposed to 2 hours before the game, with the alumni signings, there's going to be a lot of people leaving that tailgate early.
I think so.
Probably. I mean, yes, 100%. I mean, I already said it ourselves. We said it ourselves that when that is happening, we are definitely closing down early.
Well,
and we're just
what
going
happens
right
when
now.
Warren Moon comes? If
Yeah,
Warren Moon comes, right? I mean, I sure hope he does. We'll
and
see what happens.
We'll be there. We'll be there. Hurdy's shut down.
I'm just
Doesn't
out here.
matter.
I'm out here like expecting Warren Moon to show up because it's the 75th. I pray, man. I would see this season. Like, what alumni do you think would show up this season?
Oh, I'd like to think they try and get whoever is close enough / able to from every era of the team.
Yeah,
Right, that'd be cool.
That would be great. I mean,
If Michael Riley shows up, Scout's gonna cry.
yeah, yeah. Like that's another one. I really hope they get a hold of Michael Riley for sure. I hear that he's actually really hard to get a hold of.
Yeah.
I did actually hear that.
Tom Brady would get a hold of him.
No, not Tom Brady. Aaron Rodgers.
Is it? Oh, I thought it was Tom Brady.
No,
I
showed you Game of Thrones. I showed you Game
Don't
of
matter.
Thrones. But for alumni, yeah, I mean, I'm really hoping for like Mike Riley. I'm hoping for Warren Moon. I'm hoping for like Tom Wilkinson. I'm sure that he'll make an appearance at Commonwealth Stadium. Because he shows up. Jody brings him down, and it was great. We got to meet him, so thankful we got to meet him already. So if he does do an alumni signing, I guess we're not overly hard pressed on that one. But like, let's say like if Warren Moon shows up, I'd like to see the attendance for that game. Like what do you think? Do you think the upper bowl would open for that one, Chris?
Well, I'm hoping. I'm desperate to see that upper bowl open again. For the record, I'm for the upper bowl being closed. I know it's an inconvenience for a lot of people. I know it's very disappointing for people who have sat in their seats for decades.
Yeah.
But football isn't a good football atmosphere if you can stretch out your arms and legs like a starfish across the seats and not kick someone in the head.
Yeah.
It's been sad. So I love what Lawlisher is doing with that the lower deck.
I think it's a smart business decision, 100%.
Absolutely.
And I've mentioned that before. I feel like for a lot of fans, it's just going to be a challenge now.
Yeah.
Of let's see how many times we can open up that upper bowl.
Yeah.
So I don't know. We may see a bigger attendance just for the sake of stubborn E fans that want that back. You know. So
well, and what would be really cool too is like. What would be really cool as well is if they opened up a couple of sections in the upper bowl and fans ran with it.
Yeah.
Like they want to get back in that upper bowl. So like you said, just run with it and just out of angst, let's open this sucker up.
Angst and anger. And that kind of ties in with the tailgate experience too, right? Because I feel like now that they're trying to reach a much younger demographic because they're realizing that now that gap is starting to show. Of the older generation that used to go to the games that are now slowly not going to the games. Now you don't have the same engagement from the younger generation, right? So they have to be able to bring something into the plate that will attract a lot of these youngins to want to go to a football game. And what better idea than a tailgate party?
Yeah.
Right.
Exactly.
You have a whole bunch of 20-year-olds that want nothing but a good time, increase that, let them know that this is happening. Let them know that this is available, that they can come in and have a good time. And there's going to be a fan park, and there's going to be performances, and there's going to be vendors, and it's going to be a carnival, like you called it. And you're going to start seeing a lot more of these young people coming in and wanting to go see the game.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, my number 2 nephew is now a season ticket holder. He's 13 years old.
Nice.
Once I explained to him what the tailgate party was and the game and everything going on before and afterwards, he was all for it.
Yes.
Welcome
all for it. So I think the youth movement's going to grow.
Yes.
It's going to grow. I mean, it's among the best bang for your buck as far as entertainment in Edmonton.
Very much. Oh, yes. Going to an Oilers game,
Ugh.
it's fun, but you go there for that period of time, you watch the game, and then you leave.
Yeah.
Right? The entertainment that you get is the game itself, not everything else going around you, going on.
Mhm.
Right? Edmonton Elks game, when you have things like this, and you can make a full day event out of it,
Yes.
for the entire family. Like, what is not to like for like a quarter of the price, really?
Mhm.
You know?
By the way, for alumni that fans want to see, John here, Eskimo alumni Nanook. He'd like to see Nanook make a return for the
I'd be
seventh.
in favor of that.
Mhm.
Yeah, there wouldn't be any issues bringing Nanook back.
No.
I think they mostly got rid of Nanook because Spike came in, right? I would say.
It was part of the name change thing to distance himself from the
No.
controversy that I don't want to get into.
No, exactly. Yeah, moving right along. But no, what I would ask is let's go up in the herd chat here all the way back to the beginning because I think there was actually a tailgate. Did they announce Elks announce anything? Nice. Okay, here it is. Here's one of them. Question here: did they announce anything? Are the Elks going to do anything to stop people from using the tailgate spots as a personal parking spot?
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
Well, yes, there's a couple of things. So, believe it or not, I had actually asked the exact same question at the tailgate meeting. So, great question, John. I think it's a fantastic one. We grilled them because we're sick of Law 43 parking. I'll call you out Law 43. You guys just parked. I don't care.
And it was once. They just parked once.
They tailgated
did
once,
not-
yeah.
They tailgated once. They parked a couple of times, and a whole bunch of times they did not even show up.
Mhm.
Like, so what they're gonna do is an hour before the game, they're gonna do a soft cutoff. So if you're just rolling in, you're probably rarely seen in the tailgate. Pass is getting your pass is getting passed around. If that's the scenario, they'll be able to figure it out. They're not going to let you in at around an hour.
Mhm.
Now, if you plead your case and you do indeed tailgate and they know that, well, they'll give you the pass and let you in at around, 45 to an hour. 45 minutes before the game, you will not be able to get into the tailgate parking spot.
Yeah, I'm so thankful for that too, because that was a bit of a problem last year. I had some friends, well, we have mutual friends. They had people that would come in 30 minutes before the game trying to weasel their way in around cornhole games and kids running around playing. It's like, no.
Like,
Go to the garage, go to Stadium Auto. They charge for parking. Go there. Get out of the tailgate zone.
No.
yes.
I'm not even going to be nice about it. It's not a parking lot. It's a tailgate lot. Get with it or get out.
That's exactly. I think that was such a smart idea to move the parking to Lot A.
Mhm.
Not only is it more accessible for people
Yeah.
parking, it is a nice spot. You can get right out from the stadium, right into that parkade, super easy.
Yeah.
And you don't have to come into the area with the tailgate where the
That's right.
tailgate is actually going on, right? So
Right, yeah.
It's nice to drive behind Clark to get to your access too. I think the access is a lot better. Being able to just drive behind Clark. Now that 107th access, you're not trapped to the 111th access now. The 107th, you're a little bit deeper into the city. I get it, but I've kind of always liked driving that way more. I don't know why. Call me weird.
Well, and it's safer too, because once again, there's families and kids running around. You don't want to be worried about cars coming in and, having to pack everything that you just put out so that a car can get through.
Mhm.
just close it up. It really, yeah, no, I think all around good feelings about this.
John has a question here. What are they using in Clark Park for the season? Is that where they said they're going to do the Family Fest? No, that's
Yes, they're doing renovations right now, if I remember correctly.
correct.
So it's going to be closed down for quite a few of those games, but then that's when they're going to be putting a whole bunch of like a picnic area. It's going to be more towards that side, and also I think like some sort of festival or something.
Yeah, I think
I'm
they
not
said
sure.
I think they said it was going to be like a family fest. I
Yeah.
could be wrong.
I do remember them saying that there's going to be a lot of renovations for Clark Park and Clark Stadium this summer, so you might not be able to get into that quite easily, and that's why I think they moved a whole bunch of different things too,
Yeah.
like the daycare part of it. The drop your kids off while dad goes and watches football and stuff.
Isn't that the Knothole gang?
Used to be.
Used to be. Scroll on up. Do we got all? Oh, do you think all 200? Do you think all 200 stalls are going to be filled with the new prices for the spots?
Yes.
So yes. So the new price is a very good question. The new stall pricing is going to be $400. And if you want a premium spot, it's $500. But the premium spots are only available if you have had season tickets, basically since Clark days.
Well,
they're going with a seniority.
priority, yes.
Yeah, they've
Seniority
decided.
rule.
Yeah, they've ran seniority rule, just like Chris and yourself, Kathy, have said. It's good. I think that I would have preferred to see a lottery system, but that's just because I don't get the premium spot.
That's when you make friends with, the ones that have been there since the days back.
Sure,
back in
but
the day.
shout out Colin Bartman. But here's the thing with this. I had a good train of thought. They do have a lot more partner stalls surrounding now, right on either side of the stage. So we'll see how that goes. I can foresee K97 and Spirit of Edmonton potentially landing in there. Don't quote us on it. Don't know that. No clue, but I could see that. I did forget my train of thought on that. So it is what it is.
You had something to say though, Chris.
I was just mentioned the premium stalls. I love the fact that it's just a single row. For myself, I don't want one. I'd rather be in the heart of it all. If I can bring that map up again, I mean, if this is the stadium here, it is. The premium stalls are these green ones here, way at the other end. So, I'm okay without a premium stall.
Well, and that's what I was.
Would be nice for like families that have a lot of kids that they can just go in the back and just use that green space. But I mean, it doesn't matter. It's not like it's a massive parking lot that the kids still can't run over to the green space and play, right? So I do agree. I do agree on that.
No.
But they are bigger though. They're bigger stalls. So if you have a bigger truck or something like that, those might be the only stalls.
I didn't know there were bigger spots. I didn't know that.
A little bit more space. That's when when we went to that meeting, Scout parked exactly where he wanted to be. One of the things that we did notice with a couple of our friends from there, the Smiths, is that they were saying, yeah, my truck is not going to fit in any of these stalls over here. So
well, if I remember correctly, they're going to be having a limit on what kind of vehicle you can have there as well. Yeah, you can't pull your RV in there. It's not.
No.
I think they were saying that they needed the truck because they have like 6 kids or something.
Right.
Like they have so many kids that they have to roll around with, a boat essentially. But
and here I am with a minivan and I don't have kids.
Hey, nothing wrong with minivans.
You can park in the tailgate, man. You're good.
They're super fuel.
That's why I have it now. I can fit the barbecue and the tent and everything in there, no problem.
Yes. You could even sleep in there without a problem.
Oh, that's never happened.
But yeah, let's talk about the second topic if you want to bring it up.
Second topic, Jamie, we did see your question in the herd chat. We are actually going to talk about that at the end of the fan forum. But the second topic, Elmondo Sewell, D-line. really was hoping that he would join the team. It looks like his demand is actually up there, and he may have outpriced himself from the Edmonton Elks a little bit, which is he's a Grey Cup champion as of last year. So it's two time, I believe, 2 time. But Dave Campbell on Twitter said, in an effort to end any sort of speculation, the Elks are not one of the 3 teams in on Armando Sewell. Chris Jones is sticking with the youth movement on the D line for now, something that we've already mentioned, and something that Chris Jones has come out and once again stated. He will not be any more of a player in free agency. There may be one or 2 signings. It could be Armando Sewell, but biggest question here, Chris, is are you, as a fan, are you happy with the team fielded? Do you think that this team is a playoff contender in 2024?
Is it a playoff contender in 2024? Yes, it is. I think we made better strides than Calgary has. I think we've made, and that's the one team we've really got to keep our eye on. Because let's face it, BC's up there, Winnipeg's up there, Saskatchewan's definitely up there, unless the stadium caves in on them. That team is top 2 in the division, no 2 ways about it.
Wow, that's a big stake.
I don't see how it couldn't be.
Yeah.
The Argonauts were 16-2 as well, and we thought they were going to win the Grey Cup. So,
well, and we come around every year saying, they look really good on paper. They look really good on paper.
Who picked Montreal to win the Grey Cup at the beginning of the year last year? I know I didn't.
Yeah, very I don't think halfway through the season nobody was betting on Montreal to win the Grey Cup. As we say, any given Sunday, especially in the CFL, any given Sunday. We got lots of those on the schedule this year. Yeah. Very thrilled about those Sunday games, but I don't see how this team, and I just don't see how they miss the playoffs. And if they do, like if this team starts on a nasty streak of 0-6 or 0-8, 0-4 even at 0-4, because we just played this game yesterday. The schedule goes Saskatchewan, Montreal, Toronto, and BC, or BC and Toronto, something like that.
So it's a hard start of the season.
Horrible start to the season, except for that Saskatchewan game. So for the second year in a row, the Edmonton Elks have to win against Saskatchewan to kickstart their season. And if they don't, they risk another nasty losing streak. This team has to prove that it actually improved over the offseason.
The only thing that makes me really cautious is all the moves that were made. We're essentially another brand new team. How much time is it going to take for them to build enough chemistry and to understand exactly what is happening as a team? And is that going to affect those initial games? Now, at the same time, I think I mentioned this, a couple of times, a couple of weeks ago, or even before that I did feel that with a lot of the signings, we were making this an MBT team, right? Yeah, we were signing people around our quarterback, which is not necessarily a bad thing, because then we know that they have chemistry already built and they can take what they had before and apply it to the Edmonton Elks. But at the same time, they now have to work under new management, with new teammates, under new coaches. How is that going to affect it? And it makes me very cautious, right? I don't know how that's going to affect the team right off the get-go.
I'm thinking like any team, be it a football team, being a work team, being any type of physical cooperation, so long as you go in with a hardworking and positive attitude, they can do it. Right? They've got the leaders in place. We know the players will run through a wall for Jones. And from what I understand, MBT is the kind of leader that you want to run through a wall for as well. So
I wanted to when, I agree. I think the building stones are there.
I mean, there's changes in a team every year. I think regarding the quarterback room, a lot of fans were right upset it wasn't Trey Ford starting, and I get it. I want to see the excitement of Trey Ford. I want to see those mind-blowing runs. But you know what I want to see more? A strong passing game and wins.
Mm-hmm.
Very true.
Winning solves everything. What? And don't get me wrong, I got nothing against Trey Ford. I love watching the guy play. Never met the guy. I don't know him. But he's exciting as hell to watch. He's an amazing athlete to watch. But all the excitement in the world doesn't mean a damn thing if you start 0-4.
Yep. No, that's simple put.
Give me W's. As a fan, as a season seat holder, give me W's. I don't care who's starting. Give me W's.
Well, and just like we've talked about on a previous episode of the Elks Call, it's the 75th season. It's your best opportunity as a name that has a bad identity right now. The Edmonton Elks, it's a name that is synonymous with losing and losing streaks and all this. So
it's also Chris Jones' third year in this position.
Third year in a rebuild. And I think we've been rebuilding for 4. So it's like, we're at that point. Well, 3, really. 3, yeah, sure. Yeah. But no matter what, either way that you look at it, the 75th season is the biggest opportunity you have to tie together all of your branding. The Edmonton Elks to the Edmonton Eskimos.
Mm-hmm.
You have to tie that brand together. I get that Chris Jones just has his job to do and everything else, and I'm sure that he feels a ton of heat right now. I'm sure he is feeling the breath on his neck to get these wins. But the Edmonton Elks in that first 4 games, they need at least 1 win. And something to consider success would be 2 wins. 2 wins in that nasty 4-game start. So
they've got to be 500 going into Labor Day.
Yep, absolutely. No, that's right.
They say the real season starts on Labor Day, whatever. But they've got to be 500 to get in there. We got to be going into Calgary with confidence that we're going to beat those guys in McMahon. And then they've got to build that confidence in the first 2/3 of the year. It's not even negotiable. That confidence, that winning culture has to be built in the first 9 games.
Well, and that's where having a leader of men, having an MBT, somebody that's walking and saying, yeah, we're going to run this town. You need that kind of guy in that position to command that team.
Mm-hmm.
I have a really, really good feeling about the offense this year. I have a bad feeling about the defense. Right. But in most scenarios, you can outscore your problems. In this scenario, right, where in football, you can also throw the ball away too and have them score on you with an interception. Now, MBT is not an interception machine.
One thing to keep in mind, though, is that we still have the draft coming up.
We have the CFL draft.
And the combine. And what do we have? First pick.
I can tell you something else we have. Jones.
Yeah.
I like Darius Bratton. Those guys have been turning up last year. So losing Ceresno was a definite kick, but hey, we got Gittins out of it. Ratio breaker, history with MBT. Sure, the D-line's questionable. But you know what? I'll be happy as anything if they prove me dead wrong that they're questionable.
And it's with that one, we heard that Sean Oakman was potentially coming our way, and we kind of were told that we were going to fill that spot. We have the opportunity to fill it in the Canadian CFL combine or draft, combine then draft. But the 2 O-line guys that are up at number 1 and number 2 in the scouting bureau, unfortunately, will more than likely be going directly to the NFL as opposed to. So that means we lose a year or 2 of potentially getting to play that player. It does work. Now, when those players come from the NFL, they still need development becoming a starter. So what we found is just like Matthew Betts, right? Matthew Betts, he played for Edmonton for, I believe, 2 years. Mediocre play, mediocre team, mediocre grading, whatever. And then he goes to BC and he becomes an all-star stud that is now he's going down to the NFL Detroit Lions. So
yeah, I don't think we'll see him back in the CFL, to be honest with you.
Probably not. He's an absolute stud. I knew what we got when we had him.
Yeah.
It was confusing why it wasn't working out the way that it was. It was more than likely just because the team was not competitive and wasn't able to support him either. And
coaching philosophy has a lot to do with it as well.
That's the other thing. Coaching philosophy has a lot to do with it, and whatever style was happening in BC and whatever they were coaching him, it was clicking. So, good question. Before we before we close the fan forum, wish we had a part 2. Before we close the fan forum, let's take a look at this question here in the herd chat by Jamie. He had asked, do you think it would be good to have more get-togethers with season ticket holders in the off-season? So what he's referring to here is the CFL Fans Fight Cancer event that just
My favorite event, baby.
Great. That was our first inaugural. Chris, can you please tell us? You probably know a little bit more about the history on this. Can you tell us?
I'm relatively new to it. For those that are watching that don't know what the CFL Fans Fight Cancer is, it's an organization of CFL fans. Come one, come all. Everyone is welcome. We raise funds for a local cancer center in the Grey Cup host city.
Nice.
So last year we had it in Hamilton. I believe, if I'm wrong, please forgive me, but it was the Wellwood Cancer Center in Hamilton. So it's a big fundraiser we do. There's a silent auction the day before Grey Cup. We essentially take over a bar or hall, cram in 350 crazy CFL fans, drink our faces off, eat our faces off, buy a whole bunch of stuff, and raise some money.
Nice. So that's the big Grey Cup event, and like you said, you're raising money for that Grey Cup city. They're one of their cancer centers now, or the organization. Now, Edmonton, we had the opportunity to start our first inaugural CFL Fans Fight Cancer event. It was successful. Turf District, you and Turf District were basically hosting it. We obviously jumped on board with a little bit of promo and marketing duties, and then we also got to supply a prize package, which it actually featured tickets for an LPW and LPW Love Pro Wrestling and Clandestine Wrestling Society. They had a crossover event tonight on a Thursday night down at Rec Room, I believe. There's some tickets in there, a loud cup. We want to get that building loud. So it was really cool that we got to supply a package. The Elks supplied a package. Our good friend Janelle with that cake. That cake looked delicious.
What a beautiful cake, wasn't it?
Oh, just delicious.
Oh, man.
It looked delicious. I wish I could have some of it.
I'm pretty sure it's gone. It went to Sylvan Lake and it was gone after the first night.
I'm sure.
And then she still also brought her boozy cupcakes as well, which were delicious. They were.
They always are. They always are.
It was like cinnamon toast crunch or something like that.
Goodness.
I bought a 12-pack to myself that night as well. So
nice, right on.
Well worth every penny. There's none left.
Good.
Every time.
No, it was a fantastic event. I want to say it was around 2.5, 3 hours. A silent auction. What was it? Around $200 for a signed Warren Moon picture, which 300. Thank you. I thought I heard 190, and I'm like, that's low. That's way too low.
Yeah, I think it was. I know Mick Ozzie and Kimberly were. I think it was Kimberly. Were betting back and forth, and she won it. I believe the winning bid was $300.
Yes, Kim, friend of the herd. Yes,
good.
She ended up winning that.
Mm-hmm.
Thank you for correcting me on the price, but $300. That's a good chunk of money for cancer research, and it's a really good deal on a signed Warren Moon memorabilia piece. Like it has the pin in it and everything. It was beautiful.
Mm-hmm.
So, so fantastic. Raised around $1,000, I think, at that event.
At that event, yeah, nationwide, we raised, I believe it's just over $7,000. So that puts them over 15% towards the goal of 40 grand.
That's awesome.
Boom. So
if anybody wants to know where to donate, what I'm going to do when we're done here tonight, I'm going to pin all that information to the top of my Twitter feed, X feed, and then everybody can feed off that at Bearpaw Chris.
Awesome.
At Bearpaw Chris. Awesome. Can't wait. It will be pinned over on the top of that profile. I wish
Such a good initiative. I'm so glad that Edmonton got on board with that, because I became really aware of that event in Toronto.
Yeah.
With Ginger Argo, because he's a big
and he did
of it.
He did a huge tailgating thing for it, right? So it was grab some smoked chicken, throw in a $5 or $10 or $20, whatever, and donate. And I would love it if we could get the QR code. Chris, can you please send it to me after? So
I will do that. I'll pin it at the top of my profile with the website, etc., etc.
Yeah, that'd be awesome, because then that way we can open it up. Let's say under even affiliates, we can just be like, hey, donate CFL fans fight cancer. That's great. Thanks, man. Appreciate that.
Marcia McNaughton out in Vancouver, I believe, is the one that arranged the QR code to make it easy for everybody coast to coast.
Nice.
I was contacted by Adam, Toronto Argonauts superfan Adam Goss, and he wanted to do this CFL Family Summit and put some funds towards CFL fans fight cancer. So the credit really goes to Adam for starting this thing. So we had 7 communities across the country that jumped in on this. So not too bad at all. Averaging $1,000 donation per gathering.
Yeah, exactly, per gathering. And
see, that just brings back to the question that Jamie asked. We should have a lot more of these events for season ticket holders, off season, to get together, drink our faces off, eat our faces off, and donate for a good cause.
Totally.
Yeah, I think another preseason one would be a good idea.
Yes.
Yeah, and another preseason one, that would be good. And then even outside of a CFL, CFL FC, FFC, FFC, outside of one of those events, we did the tailgate thing as well, right? We all went to the middle of winter tailgate.
Yeah.
So it's always great seeing the CFL family outside of game days and outside of the usual strictly sports gathering.
And everybody misses football during the off season, right? So that just gives us an opportunity to kind of get a little bit closer to it.
Yeah,
a little bit.
Oh yeah, well, and even John here, did the Elks announce Fan Day yet? No, they haven't.
No.
Actually, is it on that calendar? No, I don't think it's on that calendar.
No, they haven't announced it yet, I don't think.
Not
sure.
At the meeting, Adam Dom was talking about it. I believe it's happening in May.
Okay.
Oh, nice.
It's still early.
Nice.
They'll announce it.
Maybe wrong. Don't quote me on it. That's not gospel, but I'm pretty sure that's when it's happening.
Nice.
They'll announce it closer to the day. I mean, it would be pretty bad if they didn't. Let's just put it that way. Like, it would be a bad look if they didn't put it on this year. So
Fan Day is really, really important. It gives everybody a chance to join. I mean, even though the tickets are affordable, there's a lot of people that can't afford to go to games. Fan Day is an affordable opportunity to get the young lads and girls in the stadium, get to experience what's going on, meet some of the players. So I'm really hoping they do it.
Oh, it's one of the biggest events for the grassroots movement. It's something that it's something that truly brings the community to the organization, connects those bridges, and actually fosters those relationships that end up lasting years. The kids, we've talked about it multiple times, but kids
love it.
Kids eat it up, and they become fans for life. Yeah,
they have so much fun.
Yeah. It takes me back to the old Carnival of Champions days. I don't know if you guys were here for that, but
I know of it.
God, I miss that. What a great sense of community. But I don't know if it'll ever happen again. I hope it does.
I hope so too, man. It would be nice to see a Grey Cup. Imagine if we became the City of Champions once again and hold a Carnival of Champions once again.
Oh my goodness, I would love that. Like a double header with the Edmonton Oilers and the Edmonton Elks. Sorry.
Whoa, look at you.
From me back. That would be a summer or winter or year that people would not remember because they would be partying way too hard.
I've lived in or very close to Edmonton all my life, and the one thing I miss the most being a fan, I miss being hated. I'm tired of this sympathy garbage. I want the evil empire. I want the double E to mean evil empire again.
There you go.
That's so funny.
Hey.
Yeah, I guess nobody hates us right now because why
Well,
would
when you have Calgary fan friends tweeting, going, "Dude, I'm so sorry."
Yeah.
That's against nature. That's not supposed to happen.
Yeah, it got so bad that fans literally stopped chirping. Like I had to stop making memes. It becomes a dead zone. It's rather disappointing. So
let's not go back there.
No. But what would be a winning idea, anyways, over here in the herd chat, we will close the fan forum with this. Love Pro Wrestling presents Elk season ticket holder night at the Rec Room South Common. You know what? We will talk to Spencer and see what we can do. I have a feeling that might not happen, but hey, maybe there's like a green and gold theme night at a Love Pro Wrestling event. We don't want to destroy his promotion or anything, but hey, Spencer, get at us. You know the drill, man.
Spencer, I'd like to I have an idea. I like the hit scout with a chair idea.
Oh, yes.
Proceeds go to CFL Fans Fight Cancer.
Yes! Proceeds will go to CFL Fans Fight Cancer. We'll add
I'll put $100 up to swing the first chair.
Exactly. And then, you'll add a ladder. There you go. You add a ladder. Extra 500 at the table, an extra 500.
Catherine, what do you think of that idea?
I don't know. I don't know if he'll be able to handle more than one.
What's up with this episode today? See, everybody chirps you when you're doing well. That's
Well, we'll talk to Spencer. Maybe some of those will have to be foam, but
we'll do what we can. I like it. Ladies and gentlemen, that is all the time we have today. We'd like to thank Chris so much for joining us on this show, man. This was great.
Oh man, I had a blast. Thank you guys for having me.
We'll be sure to have you on again. That's for darn sure. We'd also like to thank our viewers for tuning into the show, whether you're watching on YouTube, X, Facebook, or listening on TuneIn, iHeart, Edmonton Sports Talk, or on your favorite podcatcher. My name is Scout, aka the Rev from Section X.
And I'm Catherine, aka Edmonton Elks.
And that's Chris. We're the Elks Herd. This was the Elks Call. And we'll see you all in a couple more weeks with Dave Jameson. Thanks again, everybody. Have a good one. Cheers.
Good night.